And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your confidant, Cheap Ludes. Yes, that's me. Once again, please, confidant meaning friend in this case, do not jump in the comments and start admitting to crimes or misdeeds. Unfortunately, the comments are not subject to the same rules as priests and lawyers. You will be in trouble for that, I'm sure, in some capacity. So, let's look forward, gaze upon the crystal ball, and try to predict what we're going to see in NBA 2K23, my team, this week. These are actually legitimately my favorite videos to make. I had someone ask recently, like, what are your favorite videos to make? And it's these ones, because I get just the smallest sense of satisfaction, like the smallest little boost of brain activity. What's the word that I'm looking for? My receptors get hit. I feel like I'm missing a very important word here. Endorphins, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a scholarly person. Either way, I feel a little bit better when I get some of these right. Granted, I get about 85% of them wrong. That's sweet 15%. Feels great. So let's look forward without further ado. Monday. Well, that would be tomorrow. Honestly, I think we might get a moments card, but it kind of depends. As far as like who, I'm not sure. I mean, I could realistically look at NBA top performers. Usually it's someone from the weekend, typically. Not really sure who it would be. I try to keep up on these things, but it's kind of more difficult than I usually like to admit. Cam Reddish has been playing really, really well, and he's typically somebody who gets moments cards. So I kind of want to lean on Cam Reddish and say it's going to be him. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserves a card. He's been playing out of his mind. And he is somebody who they have given moments to in the past pretty consistently. At least reward cards for sure. He's usually a rewards card guy. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him at some point, but I think he's going to be kind of part of a longer grind. Kristaps has been playing really well as well, but that's a pack guy. Like, we're not getting a moments Kristaps. That's just how it is, unfortunately. We already got Jeremy Grant. That's what we got. Max Strus had some good games. I mean, that's definitely someone that we could see for sure. Other than that, I mean, a lot of the top performers over the past like 5 days have been bigger names. At least that would be worthy of like a moments card due to their kind of performance. Or guys that we've seen already, like Kyle Kuzma, Kelly Oubre Jr., Jeremy Grant. Dinwiddie had a big game, and they love giving Dinwiddie cards for moments. They love that. It's like their favorite thing in the world. So I could actually very easily see someone like a Dinwiddie or like a Clint Capella. Clint Capella would actually make a lot of sense because, like, I'm not saying they do this on purpose, but they love to give moments cards that absolutely no one would be hyped about. For sure. And I mean, we've already seen Jimmy Butler, Kuzma, and Capella right here. I don't know. I haven't done any of these, if I'm being honest. Like, I really just don't care. I see a Plumlee out here. Looks like they had a good game. What did Plumlee do? 14 rebounds. Ooh, how many points? 18 and 14? Yeah, hook up Plumlee, dude. I think that's Miles. Is that Miles or Mason? I honestly don't know. It's Mason Plumlee. Yeah, hook up Mason Plumlee with one. More than likely, though, I would say Dinwiddie or who was the other guy? There's another guy I was just talking about. Dinwiddie or Cam Reddish or Emmanuel Quickly. He had a good game the other day too. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. It'd be sick to see Lou Dort. Lou Dort would be tight. Then we got Tuesday. Obviously, we're going to be getting news on the Tuesday packs on Monday night, so tomorrow night. So thus far, we have seen Hakeem Ray Allen, Gary Payton as the top tier glitched options. So we've seen a center, we've seen a shooting guard, we've seen a point guard. So it leads me to believe that it's probably going to be a 3 or a 4 that we're getting. Honestly, all 3 of them have been past players, so I would kind of assume that we're looking, probably at a past player. It just kind of, I'm not sure exactly who it's going to be, though. It's not typically, I mean, they're weird, right? Like, they're not the biggest names in the world, but they're relatively solid names. I don't want to say that they're going to do a redo and do like a Klay Thompson, though I wouldn't be incredibly shocked if they did do that. That's actually something that would sound pretty accurate. I actually would say Lamar Odom if we didn't get a Lamar Odom card already. Thankfully, it's a little too early to get like Ben Simmons or any of those crazy like glitch players. Though, not completely out of the realm of possibility. I think T-Mac's more of like a Friday guy, so I don't necessarily think we see a T-Mac. We still haven't seen Pink Diamond Giannis, though I do think that's very, very close. I think that's in the near future, 100%. So looking through some guys like I think Josh Smith isn't quite big enough of a name, though he would actually make sense for this, like a shooting Josh Smith. I don't necessarily think he's going to sell the most packs, though. I think he'd be a very, very good card that they might even throw in there. If we weren't getting a Duncan relatively soon, I would say Duncan would fit the mold quite a bit. Bill Russell's another guy who would make a lot of sense, but we've already received Bill Russell. We did get a Danny Granger already, but he would kind of fit that mold as well. Thon Maker also, but he might be a little bit too. It might be a bit too early for Thon Maker is kind of what I'm getting at here. Yeah, it's kind of tough to really say who we'd end up getting. Just because we're kind of at a weird point in my team. I'm actually going to say glitched Rudy Gay. I don't know how accurate that is, and he isn't typically somebody who leads packs, but I'm going to go ahead and say he is a very good candidate for this. There's also a few other guys that are obviously going to be, in the running as well. If we didn't get Paul Pierce, I would say Paul Pierce. Like, we're not going to see like a Kobe or a Giannis or a T-Mac in this space. The reason being is I just don't think they're, guys they're going to waste on a Tuesday drop. But then again, we did see Hakeem and Gary Payton. So, I don't know. It's really tough to try to predict this one because it realistically could be anyone. Like, we've already seen a lot of guys too, so it's like, it's tough, man. It is really tough. Like, there's guys that we've already seen, like Draymond or Bill Russell, that I think would be really good candidates for this, but, obviously we've already seen them. And there's guys who are still coming as rewards that I think would also make a lot of sense, but we're not going to see them due to the fact that they're coming as reward cards. So, I don't know. This is a really tough time to try to predict. I'm also thinking like someone like a Chris Webber would be a good shout. Or Paul George. I mean, we could realistically see Paul George. Paul George is kind of the perfect person to be here, though he has a really good all-around game, even in his early 2K cards. That kind of make it unlikely that we'll see him here. But he would actually make sense because he's kind of the type of profile player that we've been seeing, like a Hakeem, like a Gary Payton, like a... I know the old heads are screeching that I mentioned Paul George in the same conversation as like Gary Payton and Hakeem Olajuwon and like Ray Allen, but like we're talking about like star caliber wise in a 2K perspective, he's on the same tier as those guys. That makes sense. As far as the diamond, I would be willing to bet anything, and I'm probably going to be wrong about this, but I'm kind of just trying to speak this into existence, that we get a diamond glitched 3-point shooting big man or somebody who can already shoot that plays defense. Just because we've already gotten multiple amethyst and a pink diamond, it would only make sense that we would actually get a diamond. And then I also believe that we will be getting an amethyst point guard. So an amethyst point guard that's gonna, I'm not really sure, probably dunking. I would say like a dunking Stockton or something along those lines is probably what we're gonna get. As far as these cards, I honestly, even if I wanted to guess who they would be, I really just don't care. Like, I'm dead serious. I don't care. Like, these cards have been so worthless. PJ Tucker's pretty good, but everyone else has been... Jared Vanderbilt's got use as well, but these cards have just been so useless that no one cares, honestly. Like, last season, even if you weren't going for Cade Cunningham, people were still running those cards. I mean, people are still running guys like Mathurin and stuff to this day. But this season, no one cares. I never see these cards. Occasionally, I'll see a Vanderbilt, but that is about it, honestly. Okay, done talking about those cards because they make me super mad, if I'm being honest. Wednesday, we're going to get more moments of the week here. Honestly, I know that I should be doing these, but it's just, I don't care. I just really don't. I mean, I've talked about this a bunch of times. Like, I do not care about the puzzle pieces anymore. I know they lead to good cards and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of, benefits to grinding them. But at the end of the day, I just, mentally, it's taxing to even look at. I don't care. Hoff badges are beneficial, but, like, they're only beneficial to me if I pull cards from packs, which is not happening either. So it's, like, not really having a good time this year, if I'm being honest. We're going to get another round of these. They'll be the exact same. If you like doing them, cool. If you don't, just ignore them. Doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Thursday. Now, Thursday is going to be real interesting. So my prediction is this is not the last time that we're seeing quote-unquote celebrity cards enter my team, right? These are not the only two that we'll be seeing. I would say there's a 0% chance, in fact, that these are the only two that we see. Now, it's called the crossover series, and the language that they have used in promoting this concept indicates that we're going to be getting this weekly until the end of the season, if not longer than that, right? I mean, they stated they'll be available until the end of the season. So I would expect that come Thursday, we actually see another 2 Ruby kind of crossover series reward cards. If I had to guess what they're going to do, it's probably going to be not musical artists. They're probably going to do something else, like maybe other sports stars. So we'll see like Miles Garrett, actually, I think is a good shout. He might actually be low-key kind of game-breaking, too, being that he's just so giant. He's like smaller Larry Johnson, but bigger. Like, he's shorter, but way stockier, way more ripped. I don't know. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. I just want Adam Sandler. Like, I'm just trying to hoop with, like, the homie Adam out here, member of the tribe, 5'6", you know, like 45. Like, that's what I'm trying to see. I don't really have any other specific requests, unless they want to come to me and ask, you know, who should be put in the game. Because I'm going to tell them, like, Garth Brooks. Sure. He's like 60 years old. Let the homie have his in-game likeness. It's people who they've already had scanned in, by the way. So probably, I would say content creators for sure are definitely going to be in the mix. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see, who do I know for a fact they have scanned in? Like KSI, I think they have scanned in for sure. They don't really have any 2K guys scanned in, but I think they have like Flight Reacts and KSI for sure. So I think they have at least one quote-unquote 2K guy, but maybe not this week, but the week after, I think we see content creators in here. I'm dead serious. They could just keep doing hip-hop stars, but I don't necessarily think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be... It's called the crossover series, so I would expect different people than just like rappers and musicians for the most part. So that's just me. And is there going to be like a long-term lock-in for this? I don't think so, but I would fully expect them to be more than just these two. I mean, look, it's called the crossover series. Like, I would fully expect for them to be more than these two, which will be interesting for sure. Like, I mean, look at this dynamic duo with J. Cole. They're probably going to do something else like this. It's going to be super interesting. I don't know. Like a Miles Garrett, and then he has like a, I don't know, like a dynamic duo with like Donovan Mitchell or something. That would be cracked. I don't know. Someone from like the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, they did it last time with the Dreamer set, so maybe we'll get like an Evan Mobley this weekend, and they'll have a dynamic duo. Friday, woo, Friday content, hooray. Oh yeah, Tuesday we're also getting another takeover player. Sorry, I always forget to talk about this because it's just so random. The Tuesday cards have been, like, you can argue that Elvin Hayes is a lot better than people would agree, or than would, like, say. I don't necessarily agree with that for the most part, so I don't even know where I would have gotten 24 rebounds with Rockets players at. Like, I have no idea where that would have came from. What Rockets player am I even using? Like, what? Am I truly don't know what Rockets player. Is that Artest? Has Artest been getting that many boards? It's very possible. I've been playing a lot of clutch time. And I was using Ron Artest up until this point, so I actually don't know. Is it my Clutch Time Online squad? No. I don't know where these rebounds are coming from. Either way, it's probably Artest, but... Yeah, I don't know, man. We're probably going to get someone. I don't know. It could be really anyone. Wayne Embry would be cool. I don't necessarily think they're going to do that, or like Dissinger or something. I think it's more likely we see someone like... I'm not really sure, honestly. I have no idea. Regardless, it doesn't really matter, like, who the Tuesday takeover card is. I mean, I really could care less. Like, I mean, if it's someone good, like, I'm going to grind for it, obviously. Like, the only reason I don't take the time to do Elvin Hayes is because I'll never use Elvin Hayes. Now, that being said, I'm sure I will be spurned by this game, and I'll need to use, like, a Wizards big man for some type of challenge that will infuriate me deeply later down the line, but still. Friday's content should be cracked, though. Like, I fully expect it to be cracked. Now, they could do that thing where they release 2 cracked sets in a row, and then they'll come back with a pretty, like, mid set, where there's some guys that are sneaky good, but, like, from a name perspective, it'll be kind of mid. I wouldn't be shocked to see that. Like, I wouldn't be shocked to see, like, a Paul George on Friday, who, obviously, if you're a 2K head, that's somebody that's going to be very good, so you're excited for that. But for, like, your average person, like, they don't really care too much about Paul George. You know what I mean? It's going to be either that or they're going to go super cracked mode because they're going to have to up the ante consistently now. And they're probably going to go with like a Giannis or a Kobe. But what I would expect regardless is we're going to get one Kevin Durant type player, right? Someone with a bigger name that may or may not be like a cracked card in the game. Like, I know this is sacrilegious to say and people are going to get upset at this, but I personally feel like Kobe really won't be that impactful on the game. Like, there's no way you can sit here and tell me that Kobe's going to be that much better than like Ricky Davis, because Ricky Davis is quite literally the most cracked card in the game besides Tim Thomas, right? And they usually don't have to crack out Kobe's because Kobe's will sell regardless, so it doesn't really matter. But Giannis will be overpowered to an almost comical extent for sure, especially with the way the game plays this year. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. By the way, fun anecdote. I actually recorded this part 2 separate times already. The reason being is the Our Team podcast premiere is happening right now. You should definitely go check that out. But I actually left it on in the background with my sound up from my last stream when I was watching Carton Arcs. And it just played in the background the entire time. So it was me talking over about 6 people talking over each other at the same time. So I had to re-record it. Anyways, Giannis or Kobe would make sense, but I could see like a different type player coming as well. When I say like a different type player, like a David Robinson would actually not be totally shocking. When was the last time we got a Friday big man? I think Embiid was probably the last one, right? Because Nightmare was LeBron Artest. Ferocious was Harden Draymond. We obviously got Hakeem. We got Kareem. So maybe not, but I would say if it's not going to be like a Giannis or a Kobe, I would say like a D-Rob would make a whole lot of sense. But regardless, the one thing I can guarantee, whether it is a lock-in or not, we're going to get some random, super cracked out dude. They have set the bar high this year with Tim Thomas and Ricky Davis, and I have to assume somebody like me works in there. Whatever division works on crafting cards, somebody like me is in there that loves awful 2000s basketball players and is trying to crack out as many of them as humanly possible. My guess would probably be like a Darius Miles or a Michael Olowokandi type player that we'll be seeing this week. I would be excited to see both of them. Like a Pink Diamond James Jones would be sick, dude. Or like Stromile Swift or my homie Sharif Abdul-Rahim. Just a mid-2000s combo forward that I'll never be able to afford. Stacked next to like an all-time great. That would be my assumption. Hopefully the diamonds are a little better this week. I just feel like the lower tier cards this week were very underwhelming. Like Kyle Lowry is a very good budget point guard, but it's like he's not going to have a huge shelf life. And no one gets excited seeing Kyle Lowry. And like Ben Simmons, for the way the meta is currently, is an exciting player because he's very, very good. Because if you rim run, you're quite literally unstoppable, and that's what he does. But it's just kind of disappointing regardless. In addition to whatever we get, we are also getting a new set of the Season 2 cards, so the 3rd set. Hard to even try to predict what cards we're getting. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so random. Like, we got Kuzma and Mikal Bridges this time. Like, before that, we got Isaiah Thomas and Moses Malone with Pete Maravich. So, I don't know. I would say it's looking more likely that we probably receive, like, a current player for the lock-in. I don't really know who that could potentially be. Not sure who would, because we got Jokic and Jaylen Brown, and both of them were really good. So, I don't know. We've seen a lot of them. I mean, I don't think they would do like a LaMelo Ball as a lock-in. I think he's more of a pack-selling guy. So I actually don't know. I'm not going to try to guess who we're going to receive here. Just know we're about to get a bunch of random players. If you're looking to lock in, wait till Friday to actually buy any of these Season 2 select cards that are available right now. The common misconception is that these will be more expensive on Friday. They're almost, and I'm pretty sure actually every time this year, they've been significantly cheaper come Friday. So I would hold off and I would go ahead and just kind of like pump the brakes on it and just wait till Friday if you do plan on locking in, because I feel like all of them are going to be cheaper. Like even someone like Calvin Nat, who's 2000 MT right now, probably is 900 MT come Friday. Like I'm not kidding. Like Doug West will probably still be expensive. I mean, dude, Doug West is super expensive right now for gold. He's like 5K. So I don't know. Just know that card is going to be cracked. That being said, I'll be honest, in all the online that I've played, I have yet to run into a Pete Maravich. I ran into a few Moses Malones when he was out. I don't think I ran into any Isaiah Thomases. I've run into 0 Kuzmas, and I've run into 0 Mikal Bridges. So I would say that they're not really that common. So I wouldn't kind of feel trapped in through FOMO. So, as always, it's been your boy, Cheap Ludes. I said your boy again. Deal with it. I will be back with more content later. Check out the new episode of the R Team podcast. I'll put it in the description. Had a good time. We had DBG on. That was fun. We had DFS on. It was altogether a pretty fun time. I have a good time doing it. So I think we're going to launch a Patreon soon if you guys are interested. You can always support me at Buy Me a Coffee. Links in the description too if you want to support your boys' pack openings. Super shout out to the homie Tim T-Smalls for the VC. I'm the last pack opening. I just want to say that again because I really appreciate it, because it's very difficult from a financial perspective for me to do pack openings this year. So I really appreciate that. And if you have any guesses for this week's content, please jump in the comments below. Guess everything that you want. Guess to your heart's content. I do respond to comments unless you're being a prick. Then I probably don't. But most of you guys are cool. So